We'll discuss now different type of uh, OSHA's program available. OSHA standard for hearing conservation program, and the number is 29 CFR 1910.95. And if you ask who is included in the hearing conservation program, it is actually a hearing conservation program can become very expensive also. So employer, if they cannot provide everyone's safety on hearing, then he need to provide for at least person who is very near to the machineries which make big sounds. If someone is too far from the source, he might not need the this kind of he is not part of this conservation program. So OSHA require that an employer implement a continuing hearing conservation program whenever an employee's noise exposure equal or exceed an 8-hour time weighted average TWA sound level of 85 decibel on the A scale, slow response or equivalently a dose of 50%. So 8-hour, 85 decibel, someone can be exposed. If someone is more than 85 decibel, you should not be there for 8 hours. It need to be reduced. Next discussion about physical hazard. These include noise, temperature, illumination, vibration, pressure extreme, and all forms of radiation. And we'll be more interested to discuss about noise and sounds. Some harmful effects of physical agents can be felt immediately, others only after a long period of time. So noise, by definition, any unwanted sound is we call noise. Undesirable sound include masking of wanted sound, particularly speed, auditory fatigue, and damage to hearing, excessive loudness and annoyance. Most hearing loss occur as the result of months or even years of exposure to moderate levels of noise. Hearing loss is the result of destruction of cells in the inner ear. So here is showing here sound source and level, harmful range, critical range, and safe range. And you are seeing here sound level, okay, safe range from 10 to 80 decibel is the sound pressure level unit. dB also it's called. So if any kind of leaf fall down, that makes 10 decibel, rustle of a leaf. If there is a camera shutter, that is most soft music from radio, quiet whisper, quiet urban dwelling. If it is a car driving, very busy traffic, private car, ordinary conservation, that is 80 decibel. Okay, whereas if someone is driving a truck, now the sound level will increase. That will make 90 decibel heavy vehicle for 100 decibel plate fabrication shop. And if it is a jackhammer, someone is, building a roads and he is, doing some kind of breaking of certain concrete using the jackhammer, that is rock drill, and it makes 110 decibel. So this jackhammer creates so much noise. In the meantime, it creates so much vibration also, which is bad for anyone, and he can develop certain carpal tunnel syndrome, CTS kind of things. So there is also, this kind of private planes, propeller aircraft, it can make 120 decibel. Aeroplane can make 130, 140 decibel, jet engine, riveting hammer. So you understand that, again, 80 decibel up to this is okay for maybe for a certain number of time, but after that, okay, you have to reduce the time. Whoever working, you need to reduce the time there for certain equipment that he is working on. So harmful range, critical range, and safe range is shown here. More discussion on the physical hazard side, because these cells are not repaired or replaced by the body. Hearing loss is permanent. Hearing loss can occur immediately after exposure to sudden intense form of noise energy, as an example, from burst or explosion, or it can result from lower levels of excessive noise over a period of time. So there is also impact noise, okay, something that comes fraction of a second suddenly, whereas certain noise, it goes continuously, okay, so there are a lot of different types of sound. you need to get familiar with. Next, discussion about different definitions about noise, like frequency, period, speed or velocity of sound. So frequency is something moving within a second. How much? That is frequency. Frequency is the number of complete cycle of a sound wave in 1 second. They are measured in hertz. The normal range of hearing for human being is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Whereas period, I mean, you know about wavelength, a complete wavelength, how long it takes, that time called period. A period is the time required for 1 second. It is the reciprocal of frequency. Whereas speed or velocity of sound, okay, you understand that different places, like in the air, sound velocity is different than sound velocity in water or liquid. The speed or velocity of sounds is dependent upon the medium density and compressibility. To provide example of the speed of sound, we look at the following. Like the speed of sound in air is 332 meters per second. The speed of sound in water is 1500 meters per second. So you see, speed of sound increases. Speed of sound in steel is 6100 meters per second. The speed is equal to wavelength multiplied by frequency. C is equal to lambda multiplied by frequency.